After crossing parallel worlds, Qin Fan awakened the super agricultural system. Various fruit cultivation and agricultural breeding techniques, submit to the country as soon as possible. The sunshine roses of childhood get stuck in the neck. Funan Province immediately established the world's largest supreme rose planting base, with a large and pure sweetness, priced at 10 yuan per kilogram. Watermelon and kimchi that Bangzi country cannot afford. In the Dragon Kingdom, it is only fine bran used to feed pigs. Does the cranberry cultivation base in Black Province account for 44% of global production capacity? Black Province people say. How come we don't know ourselves? Sichuan Province has also lowered the price of caviar, making it affordable for everyone to eat, and has also started farming Australian lobsters. Beautiful Chinese people mock us for not knowing how to eat avocado. Netizens replied. There was a reason why Zheng He didn't bring it back during his voyages to the West. You can always trust Zhang Qian's strict selection, Zheng He's overseas search, and Qin Fan's research and development. Chapter 1. Our grapes cost 10 yuan per kilogram. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Parallel World, Dragon Kingdom. The 24-year World Agricultural Expo is being held in full swing. Agricultural products from all over the world will gather here, and various media outlets have already set up cameras for live broadcasts. At this moment, the camera focused on Xiao Ri's booth. Seeing the camera, Xiao Tian immediately smiled and picked up a bunch of grapes, introducing them in stiff Mandarin. This is our neon grape strip work, sunshine roses, the latest planting technology, big drops of sweetness, delicious. You want to buy some work, 150 yuan per kilogram. The netizens in the live broadcast room immediately exploded when they heard the price. I've tried this before. It's delicious, but it's just too expensive. What grapes cost 150 yuan per kilogram? Are the grape skins made of gold or are they poured with fairy water? Of course it's with sewage. Go to your childhood, sell me a few broken grapes for 150, why don't you go grab them? It seems that I have observed the anger of the netizens in the live broadcast room, and the camera no longer stops, continuing forward. Just before leaving, Xiao Tian behind said in a low voice. The dragon people are poor and cannot afford to work with our sunshine roses. Although the sound was not loud, it was still recorded by the microphone. The netizens in the live broadcast room are even more explosive. The days of grass ta nai nai nai, the agricultural expo is in Magic City, right? I want to kill them offline. I don't blink an eye for 150 spicy hot pot. Do you think I can't afford it? Don't buy them, just let their grapes rot in the field. The screen rotates. At the booth at the furthest corner of the agricultural expo. A young man with slightly dark skin but extremely straight and delicate features, wearing a dusty coat and a pair of rain boots stained with soil, was playing with the fruits on the counter. The assistant next to him saw it and quickly approached, saying, Academician Qin, please rest and let me handle the sorting out. Qin Fan waved his hand and said with a serious expression. Just call me Qin Fan. I'm relatively low-key outside and everything is simple. Okay. Assistant Lu Tao responded repeatedly, sorting out the grapes and other fruits on the booth, unable to help but sigh. Qin Yuan. Qin Fan, thanks to the planting technology you brought, our products from the Academy of Agricultural Sciences will definitely shine at the World Agricultural Expo this time. Qin Fan smiled and said, this is the result of everyone's joint efforts. 3 years ago, Qin Fan traveled to this parallel world called the Dragon Kingdom and awakened the super agricultural system. At the beginning, the system rewarded him with dozens of extremely advanced cultivation techniques. At that time, Qin Fan was still a penniless worker, unable to use his skills, and ultimately chose to submit to the country. After some verification, his technology also shocked the entire Academy of Agricultural Sciences. He was also successfully recruited into the Academy of Agricultural Sciences, and due to the existence of a system, he quickly became an academician. I usually take people around the country to do research, and my face turns quite dark after going back and forth. I have become disheveled and messy because of the day and night of research. However, Qin Fan is very satisfied with his current life. At the very least, one can contribute to the country without enduring the pain of going to work. Just as I was thinking about it, 2 or 3 reporters and a person carrying a camera walked over not far away. Seeing Qin Fan and Lu Tao dressed in peasant attire, it was instinctive to shift the camera. This is a world-class agricultural expo, which will be broadcasted globally and cannot damage its image. However, a journalist spotted the grapes on the booth with sharp eyes. Suddenly taken aback, isn't this the grape from the Little Day booth just now? How did it appear here? So, the camera refocused on Qin Fan and Lu Tao. Upon seeing this, Lu Tao immediately picked up grapes and enthusiastically introduced them. Hello everyone in front of the screen, this is our latest research grape, Supreme Sunshine. The advantage is that it is pure and sweet, full of juice, without seeds, and has a unique sunny fragrance that belongs to roses. The downside. Lu Tao scratched his head with some embarrassment, it's just a bit expensive. A sensible journalist immediately answered, may I ask how expensive it is? Lu Tao suddenly faced difficulties. 10 yuan per kilogram. He trembled and raised his hand, making a somewhat difficult gesture of 8. Take less. The reporter couldn't help but widen his eyes. How much? The audience in the live broadcast room couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Lu Tao's forehead has already oozed cold sweat, after all, most of the grapes in the market are at this price. He is a bit afraid of saying it's too expensive because it's a newly launched product that has not been verified by the market yet. After quoting the price, he seemed to feel a bit inappropriate and added another sentence. Yes. It's a bit expensive, but we can also negotiate. Our bottom line is the wholesale price of 8 yuan per kilogram. Do you still have a bargaining chip? The reporter and photographer holding the microphone on the side were both surprised, which was 15 times different from the neighboring Sunshine Rose. It's a bit outrageous, I don't know how the taste is. After regaining consciousness, the reporter immediately asked. So what is the difference between your Supreme Sunshine grape and the Sunshine Rose grape from the neighboring Little Day? The difference. Lu Tao thought for a moment before answering. Our Supreme Sunshine is fully sunny, with a sweeter sweetness and a larger size than Sunshine Rose. Moreover, due to the use of new cultivation techniques, it is a completely pest-free and pesticide-free product, pure green and pollution-free, so you can eat it with confidence. May I try it, please? A journalist pointed to grapes. Of course, it's recommended to eat it with the skin on. Lu Tao readily agreed, while Qin Fan stood silently beside him, handing over the hospitality to Lu Tao, who was not good at these things. Quickly, the reporter ate a Supreme Sunshine and suddenly widened his eyes, looking surprised. It's very delicious, different from the grapes I've eaten before. It's not sour at all, and the grape skin is particularly crispy. There's no need to spit it out, and the meat is particularly soft and rotten. It melts right into the mouth, like eating ice cream. She couldn't help but eat a few more. The reporters around also followed suit and came forward to taste it. At this taste, it couldn't stop. Several reporters were like aunties in the market, constantly picking up grapes and stuffing them into their mouths, nodding and praising them while eating. The netizens in the live broadcast room are all foolish. Hey, we're here to see the fruits, not the food and vegetables. This journalist is a bit lacking in professionalism. I suggest I come here to eat. No, work. This looks very delicious, I really want to eat it too. I can't eat it, so this grape must be sour. Qin Fan and Lu Tao watched as a group of journalists even boasted and ate without stopping, but Qin Fan's eyes twitched and he felt helpless. After a while, the reporters finally remembered to get down to business and said to Lu Tao, "May I take a few to compare with the neighboring Little Day's Sunshine Rose?" Chapter 2. This is plagiarism, theft. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course, welcome to compare. Lu Tao naturally agreed. After waiting for a group of reporters to leave, he looked at Qin Fan with a worried expression on his face. "Academician Qin, don't worry, whether it's our technology or product quality itself, we need to be many times stronger than our daily lives. The current dragon country is no longer the same as before, so we need to have confidence." Speaking, Qin Fan patted Lu Tao's shoulder as a sign of comfort. Lu Tao shook his head and looked embarrassed. "No, Academician Qin. Call it by name. Qin, we have brought too many products this time, and we can't fit them on the booth. If there are no more people on top of us, I'm afraid the two of us won't be able to hold on." Qin Fan. "Then come one by one, don't show them all yet to avoid causing chaos." Just as the two were talking, there was already an argument at the booth of Xiao Ri on the other side. "Baga, no, it's impossible. Our neon sunshine and roses cannot be worse than those in your dragon kingdom. You are stealing our technology, your conscience is greatly damaged." Suddenly, a bunch of long guns and short cannons hit several young people's faces. The reporter's language is sharp. But the Sunshine Rose has only entered the Dragon Country market for less than 2 months. How could it possibly plagiarize your technology and variety in such a short period of time? Netizens in the live broadcast room also joined in. That is to say, it takes at least 3 months for grapes to ripen from fruiting, and there is absolutely no plagiarism. And our Supreme Sunshine is bigger than the little sun. Although we haven't tried it before, it looks even more delicious in color. Are you in a hurry, Xiao Ri? For 3 small days, my face was filled with anger. This time, they are representing the Neon Nation to attend the conference, and the sunshine roses they bring can be said to be their pride. I originally intended to become popular at the Agricultural Expo and sell well in the Longwa market in the future, but now there are even better grapes than their sunshine rose, named Supreme Sunshine. How can they accept this? As he spoke, a small day snapped out a patent certificate. We applied for a patent 6 months ago, so it's theft in your dragon country. It's really shameful. I want to sue you. The reporter was also somewhat embarrassed upon hearing this. Looking at the patent technology diagram, I didn't know how to respond for a moment. But on second thought, these little days may seem too arrogant on the territory of the Dragon Kingdom. So a journalist led by him said, "Whether there is theft or plagiarism, it doesn't matter if you say it yourself. Whoever can provide more direct evidence from both sides will be considered. Yoxi, take me to find it quickly. I want to see who is so shameful as to dare to steal our neon technology. This is an advanced cultivation technique developed by us, Neon, through countless human and financial resources and concentrated research and development of agricultural PhDs. It is absolutely impossible for your dragon country to develop it." For 3 small days, I followed the reporter with my patent certificate. Walking on the road, I still remember my mouth. A few journalists and photographers who were offended all wanted to hit someone. If they didn't have professional skills, the microphone in their hands would have been used as a hammer. On the other side, Qin Fan and Lu Tao did not expect that several journalists would return and bring a few small days. As soon as we met, we threw out a patent certificate and cursed at Qin Fan and Lu Tao. "Ba Jie, you guys drip, conscience doesn't drip to work. Our neon technology dares to steal, I want to sue you." Upon hearing this, Lu Tao was immediately shocked and angry. He was about to speak up and refute, but this time Qin Fan stopped him. But there was no hint of anger on Qin Fan's face, and instead he wore a smile, as if waiting for a moment for a long time. Quickly, he also took out a patent certificate from under the booth and put the two together, facing the camera. Hello everyone, this is our Supreme Sunshine's patented technology, which was developed a year ago. But Xiaori. The patented technology on Neon's side was 6 months ago. By comparison, I believe everyone can distinguish it. The lens instantly focuses on 2 patent certificates. The application time column is indeed as Qin Fan said. The certificate in Qin Fan's hand was also stamped with the seal of the Longhua Academy of Agricultural Sciences. At the bottom, in square and regular script, the 2 characters, Qin Fan, were engraved. In that moment, the live broadcast room exploded. Well, I will say that the Academy of Agricultural Sciences has something good to hide. Let's eat the garbage from childhood, right? I'm really angry that someone didn't take out this good thing early and let others know. They thought we couldn't grow it. I have a heart-to-heart connection with my motherland, and our motherland is using our brains. If it were brought out earlier, I would have cursed these little days to death. Some sharp-eyed viewers also noticed Qin Fan's name. This academician named Qin Fan really deserves to enjoy the Imperial Temple. I would like to call him the Grape Fairy. In the future, every time I eat a Supreme Sunshine, I must be grateful to Qin Fan in my heart. For some reason, everyone in the live broadcast room stiffened and spoke louder at this moment. There's no way, their strength no longer allows them to keep a low profile. As for the 3 small days, they looked at each other in disbelief. After a while, there was an explosive roar. Ba ga. Your dragon country is all a group of despicable people. Our sunshine rose is grafted from the best grape variety of Neon, with a sugar content of up to 13% and rich in various vitamins. Due to the difficulty of planting, it only produces 1,000 tons per year and sells for 150 yuan per kilogram. You should thank Neon for bringing you such excellent fruits. Qin Fan seemed to have anticipated this earlier. He smiled slightly and picked up a bunch of grapes to face the camera. Our Supreme Sunshine, after tens of thousands of grafting experiments and hundreds of thousands of screenings, ultimately chose Xinjiang Province's Qingtian white grape for grafting. It is a pure domestic fruit with a sugar content of up to 15%. Not only that, the variety we grafted has undergone hundreds of screenings, and the final product not only has the advantages of disease resistance and insect resistance, but also does not require pesticides and has the characteristic of high yield. I would like to take this opportunity to explain to you that the Supreme Sunshine was already cultivated in Funan Province 6 months ago. It has not only built an orchard with a planting area of up to 100,000 acres, but also produces up to 80,000 tons annually. It is expected to be launched in the autumn this year, and everyone is welcome to taste it. Oh, by the way, I assure everyone that the selling price per kilogram will never exceed 10 yuan. As Qin Han's words fell, both the live audience and the audience in front of the screen were stunned. Especially Lu Tao beside Qin Fan. Chapter 3. The Stick Man Who Was Both Acting and Standing. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After all, in his impression, Qin Fan has always been portrayed as someone who is not good at speaking. And just now, when Qin Fan was speaking, his eyes lit up. 10 yuan. Xiao Ri couldn't resist it at first. You are disrupting the market and engaging in malicious competition. Shameful. How shameful. However, at this point, no one wants to bird them anymore. On the contrary, there was a peaceful atmosphere in the live broadcast room. I don't know where a group of old brothers from Funan came from. Okay, the planting base is in Funan, isn't it? Who wants to eat the Supreme Sunshine in the future and can't call me Xiang Yi. Brother, don't do this. I'll exchange sugar oranges with you. This old cousin from Guangxi doesn't go to cut sugar oranges, but actually has some free time to watch the live broadcast. What are you talking about? It's summer now. Besides, my life is also my life. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Brother Funan's waist stiffened. In reality, Qin Fan put away the patent certificate. At this moment, due to the arguments here, many people were attracted to stand in front of their booth to watch. The hospitality matter was handed over to Lu Tao again. The people of childhood are still jumping and turning pale. In the eyes of a group of people, they were like jumping clowns, constantly clamoring to sue Qin Fan and his companions. Everyone present looked at these few little days with disdainful eyes, and even the camera moved away. Xiao Ri's international reputation is considered bad. After all, the issue with sewage has already sparked global anger. It is estimated that the grapes they grow will also have very poor sales. After a commotion, everyone began to taste the grapes on the booth. Whether international friends or brothers and sisters from all over the country, Lu Tao all treated them equally and queued up for distribution. Soon, the reputation of Supreme Sunshine spread throughout the entire agricultural expo. More and more people are queuing up. The reporter quickly aimed the camera at the team, preparing to record the popularity of Longguo products. However, soon an disharmonious voice appeared. A stick man saw that there were too many people in line, so he cheated and tried to cut in. Let's all give way to Smith. Haven't you ever eaten grapes? Smith. The team soon turned to this tough guy. He reached out his hand, ready to take it directly. However, Lu Tao blocked the way and spoke loudly. Sorry, please queue up. I am the Simida who is queuing up. Please queue up. Lu Tao still pointed to the last side of the team. The scene quickly froze, and everyone's gaze turned to the stick man who was standing still, either contemptuous or disdainful. These people from Bangzi country have always been like this. It's okay to cheat and play tricks in sports events, but I didn't expect it to be the same in daily life. It's like embarrassing Bangzi country. Meanwhile, there was a hint of appreciation in the gaze towards Lu Tao. This young man is well-founded, upright, and will stop unfair behavior. He immediately gained the favor of many people on site. Line up, otherwise we'll invite you out. Lu Tao's tone has become impatient. And the stick person seemed to notice the gaze around him, somewhat unable to lower his face. So with a flick of his hands, he angrily said. What's so delicious about a broken grape? Our country's kimchi is the most delicious food in the world. Before leaving, he didn't forget to say hello. Our great cold country has brought our specialty Chinese cabbage and finished kimchi. Welcome everyone to taste it. As soon as the words fell, a burst of laughter erupted on the scene. Even the netizens in the live broadcast room couldn't help but laugh. Bring kimchi out to entertain guests. Who can do such a thing? In restaurants, these things are all placed on the small ingredient table and eaten casually. Is that all? Bonzi people like to be and stand again, and they also want to set up memorial archway when they become bitches. Didn't the Asian Games last year scold our food and take it back to eat while secretly packing it? Forget it, a country that can treat kimchi as a delicacy can be so tough, but the guy at our booth is really tough, I like it. It's hard not to support it. As the team continued to move forward, Qin Fan and his team quickly distributed the supreme sunshine they brought. The crowd gradually dispersed. Many people who have tasted the supreme sunshine are full of praise for this, and even a few foreigners on site want the contact information of Lu Tao and Qin Fan to facilitate future procurement. However, Lu Tao coughed twice and said somewhat arrogantly. Sorry, we are only responsible for research and development. Please contact the orchard for procurement. Let this kid pretend to be there. But it's really enjoyable. Not only Lu Tao, but also the reporters interviewed around him, and the audience in the live broadcast room. Who says that the moon abroad is always round? Kimchi Simida. Sour, sweet and delicious kimchi, originating from the great cold country, is made by fermenting high-quality Chinese cabbage. It has a crispy vegetable taste, is fragrant and spicy, and even wants to eat Simida. Free taste of Simida. Qin Fan and Lu Tao are tidying up the booth here, preparing to bring out new products. The stick not far away started shouting. Because the booths of both sides are not far apart, they can hear clearly. This stick is also intended to create a popular phenomenon of kimchi through shouting. However, the results were minimal, and only a few people stopped in front of their booth. Lu Tao looked up and suddenly felt happy. He pointed to the booth of Bangzi Kingdom not far away and put on a smiling face of Donnie Yen, saying to Qin Fan. Qin, look, isn't the cabbage displayed on it the fan by number 1 that our institute developed last year? Qin Fan carefully looked through the air and couldn't help but nod. Judging by its appearance, it seems that it is indeed a new variety from the province of Frozen Mountains. Fan by number 1, a variety of Chinese cabbage, is also a research achievement of Qin Fan. It is mainly cold-resistant and easy to preserve. Since it was handed over to the Shandong province, large-scale cultivation has begun, with the biggest use being exporting kimchi to Bangzi country. According to complete statistics, 90% of all Chinese cabbage in Bangzi country was imported from Long country last year. These punks are really stealing everything. How could they openly sell our products as if they were their own? Harmful, they spent money anyway. Qin Fan waved his hand and was not prepared to take care of this matter. Not far away, several journalists who were preparing to go to other places to take a look suddenly heard their conversation and stopped in their tracks. The microphone poked back into Lu Tao's face. Both of you, are what you just said true? Definitely, Lu Tao nodded and said, Bangzi country has a small arable land area, so 90% of kimchi is imported from our province of Frozen Mountains. In addition, their agriculture is already underdeveloped, so the cabbage they grow is very poor and difficult to preserve. The Agricultural Expo has a total exhibition time of 3 days, and it is estimated that their own grown cabbage will wither in less than 2 days, so they will use our cabbage as a facade. Chapter 4. Local Chinese cabbage from cold country, origin of dragon country. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's it. The reporter nodded, but actually didn't understand much. But as journalists, their professional qualities have made them all smell the heat of this matter. If the cold country cheats and changes pillars, selling our cabbage as their own, and even showing off at the Agricultural Expo, then if it were to be released as new news and write an explosive headline, it would be a reliable traffic generator. Where did you see it from? The reporter asked Lu Tao again. Lu Tao frowned and secretly glanced at Qin Fan beside him. Seeing that Qin Fan had no expression or reaction, he dared to answer with confidence. Because this fan by number 1 is a product developed by Academician Qin Fan of our research institute 2 years ago, we can tell at a glance what it looks like. Would it be convenient for you to go and observe up close with us? Every word the reporter says is actually a trap. When Lu Tao realized it, there was nothing he could do. I saw a sigh coming from behind. It was Qin Fan who nodded. Go ahead. Qin Fan originally didn't want to take care of this matter. After all, Bangzi people will continue to purchase their cabbage in the future, and it will be profitable to some extent. If it gets urgent. Wait, it seems that no matter what, Bangzi people can only buy cabbage from the Dragon Kingdom, right? Upon this thought, Qin Fan was relieved. He and Lu Tao followed a group of journalists and walked towards the exhibition booth in cold country. As soon as you speak, it's just one sentence. May I ask if your Chinese cabbage is a local product from a cold country? Of course. A stick person lifted his head with a proud expression on his face. This is a unique variety of kimchi from our great cold country, and the kimchi made from it is fragrant and crispy. As he spoke, he noticed Qin Fan and Lu Tao following behind the reporter. Immediately, like protecting food, I moved the cabbage and kimchi on the table back. Do you also want to eat our kimchi? Buy it yourself, Simida. Qin Fan. Lu Tao. Nonsense, this cabbage is clearly imported from our dragon country by you. Lu Tao saw that the other party was stubborn and had no choice but to speak up and criticize. The little stick across from him burst out laughing at the words. "You dragon people, really interesting smiths. You stole our spring festival and mid-autumn festival in the great cold country, and also stole our rice cakes and pickle technology. Now you still want to steal our Chinese cabbage smekta. This cabbage is clearly brought from our cold country, and the kimchi we make is exported to the world. It cannot be yours." As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience fell silent. Several journalists couldn't hold their tension anymore. I have seen someone shameless, but I have never seen someone like this before. The live broadcast room was filled with curses. Wipe it off, I thought my childhood was already disgusting enough, but I didn't expect Bangzi country to be even more heavyweight. A small territory, once a vassal of the Dragon Kingdom, now has the delusion of making a comeback. I have nothing to say about this, I just want to send an okay gesture to this cold country friend. When did our spring festival and mid-autumn festival, as well as rice cakes and pickles become sticks? Can someone explain why I can understand every word he says, but I don't recognize them when they're connected together? However, during the period when everyone was stunned, Qin Fan had already pinched his chin and began to observe the big cabbage brought by the stick man. Just a few glances, he couldn't help but let out a light smile. "What's wrong?" Lu Tao quickly asked. Qin Fan waved his hand and said, "It's okay, keep going." The stick person is still reluctant to let go. "Since you say this cabbage was exported by you, then you should provide evidence." The camera quickly caught Lu Tao. He also refused to be outdone and pointed to the cabbage on the table, saying, "The whole world knows that Chinese cabbage originated in the southern part of Dragon Country, and our export variety, Fan by number 1, is oval in shape with a spherical index between 1.5 and 2. Looking at the whole world, except for Dragon Country's mountain frozen province, there is no such large Chinese cabbage that can be grown. This is evidence." Wahahaha. Upon hearing this, the stick person burst into laughter. "This is the latest variety we are researching in the great cold country, and it has already surpassed your products. If you use this as evidence, it would be too funny, Simida. You." Lu Tao was furious. Several reporters around were also somewhat helpless when they saw the situation. After all, the other party is shameless and speaks so confidently, they really can't say anything. "I'm afraid this matter will get messed up. Is there any evidence left?" "Of course." Lu Tao was about to speak, but suddenly felt someone slapping him on the shoulder. Turning around, I found it to be Qin Fan. Suddenly, all his anger dissipated and he became much more solemn. "Qin. Brother, what's wrong?" "It's okay, let me do it." Qin Fan coughed steadily twice and walked slowly to the front. A slightly dark face, but with a very delicate appearance, accompanied by a calmness that does not match this face. I saw him staring directly at the stick man across from me and speaking. "I originally wanted to save you some face, but since you are so stubborn, I have no choice." Qin Fan reached out his hand and flipped the cabbage in front of him. Then a red label emerged. The camera zoomed in instantly. On this label, it is prominently written, "Exclusively for export, origin. Shanling Renjiao Town." After netizens saw the words clearly on it, they couldn't hold their tension in an instant. "Ha ha ha, let me laugh for a while. These idiots stole our cabbage and didn't even tear off the export label. I can't do it either. Bangzi people know how to get things done. This is definitely the funniest news of the year. I thought Bangzi was holding back a big trick, but who knows, they pulled a big one. This little brother is so careful. The wheat skin color is also very beautiful, and he looks good. The key is that he is careful enough, haha. He hit Bangzi's face hard. Is this just hitting a swollen face full of fat? I can only give this operation 8.4 points because they really have 1.6. Not only that, several journalists couldn't help but laugh. Pushi, sorry, we are professionals and usually don't laugh. Lu Tao, too, had a mocking expression on his face as he pointed to the cabbage on the table and grinned incessantly. Qin Go is still careful. I didn't even notice that they were so stupid that they didn't even tear off the label. Qin Fan shook his head, feeling somewhat helpless. And the stick person across from him, seeing a group of people suddenly laughing and tilting back and forth, was somewhat puzzled. What happened, Smith? Lu Tao tore off the label on the cabbage and mocked the stick man, saying, "Do you know what this is?" The stick person stared at the red label for a while and found that it was written in Chinese, making it difficult to read left and right. But in such an occasion, they cannot lose face in the great cold country. So I thought for a moment and spoke in a straightforward and confident tone. This is the label we export from our great cold country to your dragon country, so it is written in Chinese, which is enough to prove that this is the Chinese cabbage we grow and export. But Lu Tao was already trying hard to suppress his smile. The place of origin mentioned above is Renjiao Town, Longhua Mountain Frozen Province. Chapter 5. Lowering the Price of Cherries. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This. The stick person had a bewildered expression, somewhat confused about the situation. After he realized it, he immediately took out his phone and took a photo to translate the words on the label. Then, his face turned red and quickly turned into a pig liver color. After a while, he scolded his companions who came with him in full force. Although they were all in cold language, it was not difficult to hear that they were cursing profusely. Shiba, after cursing, he turned his head and said to the camera again. Defamation, this is slander. This label must have been secretly put in by your people, with the purpose of slandering the cabbage of our great cold country. While the stick person was speaking, some good people had already approached and opened several more cabbage in succession. Without exception, all labels were not torn. Netizens' reactions. LLL, Omega, sure enough you can never wake a person who pretends to sleep. Lu Tao was still watching the play when he suddenly felt his clothes pulled by someone. Qin Fan waved at him from behind. Go back, don't forget our mission. Lu Tao nodded. Their Academy of Agricultural Sciences has indeed been silent for too long, with most people only bowing their heads to conduct research and neglecting propaganda. So far, many dragon people are unaware that many fruits and vegetables on the market are actually the result of research and development by the Academy of Agricultural Sciences. So this time, taking advantage of the World Agricultural Expo being held in Longhua, the leaders also want to take this opportunity to promote it. Originally, Qin Fan did not want to come to such an occasion. But there's no way, many of these things are Qin Fan's research and development achievements, only Qin Fan knows some. After some persuasion, Qin Fan agreed to come here. However, the main work was still entrusted to Lu Tao. Meanwhile, on Douyin short videos. 2 videos quietly made it to the hot search on the platform. The Supreme Sunshine Grape of the Academy of Agricultural Sciences has emerged, priced at only 10 yuan per kilogram, with a taste far superior to that of the Little Sun Rose. The reporter commented that it tastes like ice cream. The Cold Country Agricultural Expo switched sides and claimed that frozen Chinese cabbage was a local vegetable, but forgot to tear off the import label. Then, there are 2 live streaming screenshots. In the video, there are also 2 special close-up shots of Xiao Ri, who is extremely angry and frustrated, as well as Han Guobangzi Ren. In addition, there were also many shots of Qin Han and Lu Tao. The comment section of the 2 videos is even more boiling. I'm laughing to death. I regret not watching the live broadcast. When I heard 10 yuan per kilogram, my face turned green. Bangzi people are also very interesting, and I am not surprised by their behavior at all. I am frozen in the mountains. I have announced a halving of kimchi production for exporting to cold countries this year. Don't ask the reason, it's just laziness. Brother upstairs, do you want to starve those people from the cold country? This wave is called a bottomless draw. Wait, have you noticed that the little brother wearing rain boots is quite handsome? Although he looks a bit messy, his overall appearance is really good. Why do you have to farm with this appearance? Have you considered planting strawberries around my sister's neck? Sister, this is the comment section, not the unmanned area. Please be a little more restrained. On the other side, Qin Fan and Lu Tao returned to the booth and took out a basket of cherries, a basket of cranberries, and a basket of blueberries from under the counter. Each basket has an extremely excellent appearance, which immediately increases one's appetite. Before the two of them could start selling, a group of journalists swarmed around like bees. After experiencing just two things, they also saw the heat from Qin Fan and Lu Tao. They were surprised to see that they had brought out 3 large baskets of fruits. Surprised, I naturally wanted to dig out a little more heat from the two of them. Che Li Zi. A journalist holding a microphone, with a puzzled expression on his face. Isn't this imported fruit? It seems to be from Chile, isn't it our local fruit? And cranberries, this is the first time I've seen them fresh. Usually, I can only eat dried fruits on top of cookies. Isn't blueberry a fruit from beautiful country? It seems like the price is not cheap yet. Listening to the gossip of the reporters, Qin Fan's face also wore a very warm smile. You're all right, the origin of these fruits is indeed overseas. However, Qin Fan's words immediately aroused the curiosity of a group of journalists. They also want to know why foreign fruits appear on domestic booths. However, before Qin Fan could finish speaking, the stick man not far away intervened again. Because what happened just now was a bit embarrassing, they simply put away the cabbage on the booth and went to Qin Fan and his place to watch the play. Shiba, even though it's a foreign fruit, are you willing to take out the packaged simida? As he spoke, the stick man glanced at the fruit on the table and sneered. These are all high-end fruits, you dragon people can't afford to eat simida. You dragon people don't know how to eat fruit like simida. Watermelon is the most delicious fruit in the world, the kind you eat with the skin. Everyone. A group of reporters glanced up at the stick man without paying attention. Turning to look at Qin Fan, waiting for his next message. Cough cough. Qin Fan clenched his fist with one hand and placed it on his mouth, clearing his throat. However, through our efforts, now these fruits have our own patents and cultivation techniques in Dragon Country, and their yields also occupy the top in Asia. To put it another way, although these fruits have a foreign face, they are actually local fruits. Like cherries, we have large plantations in Central Plains Province with an annual output of over 200,000 tons. Nowadays, a large part of the cherries we buy on the market are locally grown dragon fruits from Central Plains Province. The atmosphere fell silent for a moment. A group of journalists seemed incredulous, looking at Qin Fan with skeptical eyes. 10,000 netizens in the live broadcast room also don't believe it. I'm from Central Plains Province, how come I didn't know about this? When did my country secretly plant cherries from me? When can we lower the price of cherries? Okay, I'm from Central Plains Province. We planted our own cherries and sold me 681 pounds, right? Brother, you have been deceived. I bought cherries from Guangxi Province today. The origin of the cherries is indeed from the Central Plains, and they are sold for 381 pounds. I come from Guangdong Province. Currently, domestic cherries are indeed cheap, with prices ranging from 30 to 61 pounds. However, imported cherries are generally sold at 70.80, or even over 100 pounds, and they are still shipped by frozen sea. They are not as fresh as our domestic cherries. In recent years, the price has been significantly reduced by ourselves. Don't say we can't afford it anymore. Netizens from Central Plains Province. It's broken, we've become clowns ourselves. Chapter 6, please refer to VCR. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. For a while, the soup with pepper in Central Plains could not help it. This feeling is like my mother secretly slaughtered an old hen. Everyone thought this was meant to be kept for their own offspring to cook soup and drink. As a result, my mother handed the chicken legs to Wang Shaoren next door, and the chicken wings to Zhang Zihan across the street, while my own child couldn't even eat a chicken butt. The soup with pepper in Central Plains is boiling. Well, let's give our friends from other places cheap cherries. We can only drink soup with pepper ourselves, right? If it weren't for the live broadcast today, I would still be kept in the dark. Our Central Plains province even grows cherries. Damn it, if I wake up tomorrow and don't see the price reduction of cherries, I'll cut down all the fruit trees. Since they won't be eaten, I'll lift the table. I see who dares to say, our Central Plains province, in the future. Stay calm upstairs, no one usually says anything about it. Looking at the dense barrage of bullets on the screen, a group of journalists were stunned. Is this being debunked by netizens? Is Khaleesi real? What about cranberries? Since he had never eaten fresh cranberries before, a journalist couldn't help but pick them up and gently bite them into his mouth. In an instant, she put on a mask of pain. Open your mouth wide and tremble all over. In the end, he couldn't help but cover it with a tissue and spit it out. Qin Fan couldn't resist seeing the situation and explained with a slight sweat on his face. If you eat cranberries directly, it's not that you can't eat them, it's just that they will be very sour. But this thing is usually used to extract anthocyanins, make dried fruits and jam, and eat them with other foods. Moreover, cranberries are rich in various nutrients needed by the human body, so they should be considered as a health supplement. They can effectively prevent stomach cancer, inhibit Helicobacter pylori, and contain anthocyanins, which have remarkable effects on skin care. His words made it seem that the journalist didn't understand. Several reporters were talking nonsense, surrounding cranberries and giving close-up shots. So, isn't it actually a fruit? I can't say that, Qin Fan solemnly replied, if it's really useless, then our dragon kingdom won't plant it anymore, right? Then, Qin Fan talked about the origin of cranberries. 7 years ago, our country of dragon had no experience or base for growing cranberries, so before that, we had to import tens of thousands of tons of cranberries from abroad every year. Due to the low import volume, the price of cranberries has always been high, and we do need them. Therefore, there is no other way, we can only sell them at the price quoted by the other party, and we will receive the same amount of money. In recent years, we have also been cheated a lot of money. Just 3 years ago, Longgua's cranberry planting base was established in Heilong Province. After 3 years of development, our cranberry planting base in Longgua has reached 4,200 acres, becoming the world's largest cranberry planting base. With the transformation of our identity, we have successfully broken through the predicament and are no longer stuck by foreign markets. Nowadays, the international price of cranberries is determined by our Black Dragon province in the Dragon Country. As Qin Fan spoke, there was a faint smile on his face. If you look closely, you can still see an indescribable sense of achievement from it. In his previous life, many things in the Blue Star and Dragon Kingdom where he lived were blocked by foreign countries. Not only fruits, but also various high-dot precision and cutting-edge fields, such as chips, drones, aircraft carriers. At that time, an aircraft carrier obstruction rope had a cost price of less than 300,000 dragon coins, while beautiful country dared to demand a sky-high price of $10 million. But now, Qin Fan can break this foreign monopoly with his own strength. Although it is only in agriculture, the sense of achievement is also indescribable. Several reporters listened and their faces couldn't help but become serious. On this issue, they dare not be careless at all. After all, it was also a pain in the hearts of many dragon people. As for the Black Dragon Province people in the comments section. Wait, what did he just say? Black Dragon Province has the world's largest cranberry base. Black Dragon Province, how hard it is for you to keep it from us. I thought I could only see the joke about wishing my father Jackie Chan online, but today it happened to us. Our Black Dragon Province has made a lot of progress. I only found out for the first time today that our Black Dragon Province is so awesome. If I had known this, I wouldn't have envied the supreme sunshine of Funan and the cherries of Yuan Province just now. Our Black Dragon Province also has its own cranberries. As for the final blueberry, there is actually no need to say more. Qin Fan pointed. This is a blueberry produced in Qin Province. You can try it. The taste is very good and it is sold nationwide every year. People usually find a fruit shop on the street, and that's what they sell. Netizens from Qin Province. Netizens from all over the country. Isn't Qin Province only producing fungi? Why do we still have blueberries? Okay, who is this handsome fruit seller? He shocked me 800 times in a day. Mainly because he didn't say it, I didn't even know we were so awesome. To be honest, I grew up in Qin Province since I was young, and it was the first time I found out that we produce blueberries. I was shocked again. It's really amazing that he can't help but open the door for Nyobai. Nyobai has arrived home, okay. With the boiling of netizens. Qin Fan lightly pushed his somewhat worn-out glasses, with a warm face and a straight figure standing in front of the camera, even standing one head higher than the reporters. If it weren't for dirty clothes and a pair of very incompatible rain boots, it would definitely be a handsome young man. But at this point, he is already very good looking. The netizens in the live broadcast room were all stunned by Qin Fan. Who the hell is this little brother? Isn't he a fruit seller? How could you be so handsome? Can you marry him so that you can eat fruits that don't taste the same every day? Forget about the love brain upstairs, still want to go for free. Several journalists came to their senses at this moment and thanked Qin Fan. Thank you very much for your science popularization and for letting us know these cold knowledge. So, may I ask, besides their place of origin and production, which specific regions are these fruits sold to? Qin Fan coughed again. Lu Tao, standing behind him, immediately stepped forward. Fruits, of course, are prioritized for sale throughout the country. Moreover, with the widespread cultivation of fruits, they have also made significant contributions to our country's animal husbandry and animal husbandry. Can you provide more details? The reporter quickly asked. After all, this is the Agricultural Expo, and animal husbandry and animal husbandry are also considered a type of agriculture, so Lu Tao is not off topic. Everyone also wants to know what kind of contribution fruit cultivation can bring to these two industries. It was the stick person not far away who spoke calmly at this moment. Shiba. Contribution. It's not like using these to feed pigs, is it? Lu Tao smiled slightly. Please take a look at VCR. Chapter 7. No Signboard, White Promotion. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. While speaking, Lu Tao had already taken out his phone. In the phone, there is a video playing. A long, fat-headed and big-eared pig is now lying in the pigsty, snorting and eating food. As the camera slowly zoomed in, everyone gradually saw clearly what the pig was eating. It turned out to be a bunch of red cherries. A whole pig was eating with relish, not even spitting out the pit. The sound of snorting kept going, and it seemed to hit the stick man behind him hard in the face. The stick person broke the defense, completely broke it. After all, there was a video of a dragon man feeding big watermelons to pigs before, which spread to their cold country. They mocked the dragon people for wasting their natural resources and not worthy of eating watermelons. Even in their cold country, they have released many videos teaching the dragon people how to eat watermelon, even precise to the way watermelon peels are eaten. However, the dragon people didn't pay much attention to this and instead threw back more videos of feeding pigs and eating watermelons. In the video, the big watermelon was violently cut into pieces by a kitchen knife, revealing the red flesh of the watermelon. In some videos, the skin of the watermelon was even specially cut off and thrown directly into the trash can, only giving the pig red watermelon flesh, which is a deliberate mockery of the behavior of eating watermelon skin in the cold country. Defeat magic with magic. Due to the extremely small arable land area and scarce fruit production in the cold country, the price of fruits in their area is extremely high. A watermelon that costs more than 10 yuan in the Dragon Kingdom may cost several hundred yuan in the Cold Kingdom. So let alone fruits like cherries. Axiba, you are wasting food and will be punished by heaven. Simida, faced with the batsman who broke the defense, Lu Tao continued to explain without changing his expression. Because the yield of fruits is too high, some bad and secondary fruits cannot be sold. Therefore, some farmers will use them to feed pigs, chickens and ducks, and the fertilizers produced by animals can also be applied to fruit trees, achieving ecological circulation in truly pure green and pollution-free. After listening, the reporters nodded confidently. But in my heart, I thought that tonight's news headline had arrived again. The netizens in the live broadcast room also got into a mess. The things that stick like treasures are only used to feed pigs here. Harmful, the mountain pig really can't eat the fine bran, and the stick is only suitable for eating watermelon skin. Take a look, give the pigs some cherries and they can't stand it. Wait, what did they eat? It's broken, brothers. It's only then that I realized. What about the cherries I fed? What if I envy these pigs a little? We haven't even achieved Khaleesi's freedom yet, did the pig achieve it first? If I hadn't known in advance that these were all bad and secondary fruits, I would have started spraying now, but even so, I still feel a bit uncomfortable. Hey! It's not just the stick people who break the defense, but also the netizens in the live broadcast room. However, seeing that our country's agriculture has truly become stronger, even pigs can eat cherries, netizens are actually quite pleased in their hearts. What is the glory with you? Lu Tao continued at this moment. In fact, we have not only achieved leadership in fruit cultivation, but also made great achievements in agricultural cultivation, forestry prevention and control, aquaculture, and animal husbandry. For example, the cultivation of rice has truly enabled the dragon people to achieve self-sufficiency and even prosperity. The popularization of sea buckthorn trees and protection against invasive alien species in water bodies. Lu Tao talked about a series of professional knowledge. I was afraid that a group of people wouldn't understand, so I made a special explanation. Speaking of which, I feel a bit dry-mouthed. Finally, it should be noted that all the patented technologies for these fruits come from Academician Qin Fan of our research institute. We welcome everyone to taste them. After speaking, he pushed the fruits on the booth and prepared to distribute them to everyone to taste. However, no one on site took any action. Several journalists took the lead in applauding. Then there was a large crowd of onlookers who came to participate in the exhibition, but couldn't help but applaud. For a moment, applause thundered. Everyone present also deeply remembers the name Qin Fan in their hearts. In this world, while some people enjoy a better life, there are inevitably people moving forward with heavy burdens. Salute to those scientists who have silently contributed. May I ask if it's ready to eat now? I don't know who said it, it's obvious that I'm greedy. Of course you can. Lu Tao pushed the fruit out while looking at Qin Fan behind him with a guilty expression. After the fruits were distributed, there were only 2 people left on the booth. Qin Gu, I didn't mean to do it just now. I just feel like you've made such a big contribution. Since you're not looking for profit, then it's always right to seek fame, right? Lu Tao said somewhat helplessly. You said that as scientific researchers, we earn thousands of yuan a month and live in an unknown underground world, while those so-called celebrities don't need to do anything, just talk, and their monthly income is. Shut up. Before Lu Tao could speak, Qin Fan sternly stopped his next words. Qin Fan straightened his expression and said seriously. Xiao Lu, your idea is very dangerous. Things always have to be done by someone, and as someone like us, it's not convenient to appear in the public eye. Just be yourself and be down to earth. Got it, brother Qin. Lu Tao lowered his head and replied with a somewhat disheartened hammerhead. The first day of the agricultural expo ended dramatically. In the evening, Qin Fan and Lu Tao were tidying up the booth. Suddenly, Lu Tao flipped out a sign from under the table, feeling somewhat puzzled. Hey, what is this thing? Qin Fan picked it up and flipped it over. The 5 big characters, Longwa Academy of Agricultural Sciences, appeared prominently on it. Wipe, why is there still a sign? I haven't heard of anyone hanging a sign yet. Lu Tao was a bit puzzled. Turning around, I realized that other booths were all adorned with signs, such as a certain company or a certain national research institute. Their booth is unique and has no signs. Qin Fan was confused and said, Xiao Lu, what do you mean? Today is the day, and we only discovered this now. Lu Tao nodded. It's done. Qin Fan shrugged his hands and said, our day's promotion was all in vain. Who knows now that those products were developed by our Academy of Agricultural Sciences? At Qin Fan's words, Lu Tao was also foolish, and he swallowed his saliva. After all, the reason why the Academy of Agricultural Sciences sent them to participate in the Agricultural Expo this time is to build the reputation of the Academy of Agricultural Sciences. Now, Qin, it seems like I made a big mistake. It's not a problem. Qin Fan patted his shoulder. Just hang up tomorrow. After all, I didn't realize that it's not your fault alone, and no one will hold you accountable. Let's go back to the hotel first. Thank you, brother Qin. At the same time, on Douyin short videos, hot searches are almost dominated by fruits from Dragon Country. There is a feeling that the weather is about to change. Chapter 8. Qin Fan, you finally appear. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Surprisingly, Funan Province still grows grapes. The Supreme Sunshine Plantation has an annual output of up to 80,000 tons and is expected to be launched in the autumn. Kalizi from Central Plains Province dominates the screen. It turns out that all the Kalizi we eat are purely domestic. The annual production of Chinese cabbage in Shandong Province is 80 million tons, accounting for 90% of the total import volume of cold country's Black Dragon Province secretly started cranberry cultivation without telling anyone. Kaiyuan Province blueberry fire is on the rise, priced at 10 yuan per box for ordinary people. Agricultural planting drives agricultural breeding. Will pigs raised with cherries have better meat quality? Several hot searches in a row, all related to the Agricultural Expo. In the video, the scene of Qin Fan domineeringly slapping Xiao Ri and Bangzi Ren has attracted likes from netizens. Moreover, the internet is filled with the howls of people from various provinces. Funan Province netizens. Funan, it's so hard for you to keep it from me. It's fortunate that I always thought we were not from the countryside. If you were to plant the Supreme Sunshine, you should have told me earlier. Okay, don't change your identity from being in the village to being at Xiangyi. I announce that this year's Supreme Sunshine from Funan will be the first to be sold to Guangji's old watch. I hope that by the end of the year, the old watch can exchange for sugar oranges. Shandong Province netizens. My strength no longer allows me to keep a low profile. Besides big apples, we also have big cabbage. Not to mention, we'll have pork, cabbage, and noodles for dinner tonight. I heard that Bangzi country stole our cabbage. My family makes kimchi, and every year our kimchi products are exported to cold country. They wouldn't even steal kimchi, would they? Netizens from Central Plains Province. The first time I found out, we even planted cherries. Zhongla, our Central Plains are quite deep, isn't it? If it weren't for the Agricultural Expo, I wouldn't have known about it. Netizens from Funan Province. Hehe, do you want to eat mushrooms? As the popularity of these videos increased, Qin Fan's name gradually became familiar to people. Curious netizens are eager to know Qin Fan's background and other achievements besides these fruits. When the first netizen tried to search for Qin Fan's name on the patent website. As a result, a bunch of patent certifications immediately popped up. Supreme Sunshine Grape Planting and Cultivation Techniques, 5th Generation Cherries Cultivation Technology Cranberry Cultivation Techniques adapted to the Northern Climate Fan by No. 1 Cold Resistant Cabbage Hybrid Technology, Freshwater Salmon Aquaculture Technology Australian Lobster Farming Technology Sturgeon Aquaculture and Fertilization Technology a bunch of agricultural technology certifications, all signed by Qin Fan. The netizens who saw these are all numb. This is not an academician, it's not an exaggeration to say it's a national scholar. If it were an ordinary person with so many patented technologies, perhaps they would have been used to make money long ago and have no worries for the rest of their life. However, Qin Fan was only the inventor of the patent. Netizens were surprised to find that the actual owner of each patent is the Longhua Academy of Agricultural Sciences. You should know that every technology here can benefit the people. Or rather, these technologies have elevated the overall agricultural level of the Dragon Kingdom by several classes. But to this day, Qin Fan is just an ordinary academician, without much outstanding reputation or wealth comparable to that of a country. Just silently giving without expecting anything in return. Nowadays, there are still many people like this. Although Qin Fan was discovered by netizens, it is only an isolated case. However, even so, Qin Fan was still labeled as a national scholar by netizens and topped the hot search list. For a while, Qin Fan's reputation was greatly affected. However, just as netizens were preparing to dig deeper into Qin Fan's identity information. But it was discovered that no more useful information could be found no matter what. Qin Fan's identity is like being shrouded in a layer of fog, leaving a blank space on the internet. Apart from the name, gender, and a bunch of patent certifications, there is nothing, not even a single photo can be found. Now, netizens became even more curious about Qin Fan's identity. How could someone who has made such a great contribution not have been promoted online? However, if it can't be found, it means it can't be found. However, some netizens stepped forward at this moment. My family owns an orchard. 2 years ago, for some unknown reason, my strawberries suddenly had bugs that couldn't be removed. I also sought help from many experts and spent a lot of money but couldn't solve them. Finally, there is a netizen named Qin Fan who taught me a way to solve it. Although I don't know if it was Qin Fan, he is really a very good person. He saved my orchard without asking for anything in return, which is truly admirable. Also, there's me. Suddenly, a bunch of weeds has grown in my vegetable garden, and it's not easy to use various herbicides. This is also the solution that a netizen named Qin Fan told me. I run a pig farm, thank you Qin Fan. The whole company has tens of thousands of pigs infected with swine fever, which was saved by Qin Fan. Otherwise, I would definitely lose my family and life. If there is a chance, please give me a chance to thank you in person. I also. And my family's fish pond. Some farmers who engage in agricultural planting and animal husbandry have expressed their opinions online. At this moment, netizens suddenly noticed. Although Qin Fan hides deeply, his shadow is everywhere in their lives. I don't know who it is, but I posted a sentence online. I have a national scholar, unparalleled in the world. Subsequently, this sentence was reprinted by major media and marketing accounts, accompanied by the name Qin Fan. For a moment, the entire Douyin was brushing Qin Fan's name. Some people strongly demand that Qin Fan activate personal Douyin. He can earn as much money as a celebrity can. It's worth it for nothing else. However, no matter how strong the voices on the internet are, Qin Fan's message has never been revealed in the slightest. As an academician of the Dragon Kingdom, the identities of all researchers are kept confidential, not only confidential, but also top secret. If it is not necessary, it is absolutely impossible to disclose it. But, except for one person. Kyoto, Dragon Kingdom. Qinglin Animal Husbandry Corporation, a 48-story building. On the top floor of the CEO's office, a young woman with a cold and beautiful appearance and a very graceful figure was staring tightly at her phone screen, her eyes red. On the phone screen, a young man with slightly dark skin and a calm personality is introducing grapes in front of the screen. Every move exudes a hint of stability. Her delicate face dazed her. After a while, the woman regained her senses and stared at Qin Fan on the screen, gritting her teeth. Qin Fan. After disappearing for 3 years, you finally appeared. Chapter 9. 3 years no see, thinking you were dead. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 3 years ago. Qin Fan and Su Xiaowei are still the most ordinary couple on the university campus. It's not ordinary that Su Xiaowei concealed the fact that her family started a company from Qin Fan. At the time of graduation, Qin Fan was busy looking for a job. Su Xiaowei also wanted to go home and tell her family about her love affair with Qin Fan, as she was the only daughter in her family and Qin Fan happened to be an orphan. Coincidentally, both of them studied animal husbandry, and her family also runs a cattle farming company. Everything is incredibly clever. At that time, Su Xiaowei felt that the two were a destined couple. Qin Fan raised cows, and she worked as the landlady to count the money. The two of them would be happy for a lifetime. She told Qin Fan to go back for a while. Qin Fan also agreed well. Then, we escorted her to the bus station. Under the sunset, the two embraced each other and refused to let go. What Su Xiaowei didn't expect was that after this farewell, she never heard from Qin Fan again. Qin Fan seemed to disappear from this world out of thin air, with no news. She has thought about countless possibilities. For example, when Qin Fan suffered from a terminal illness and refused to drag himself down, he quietly left alone. For example, Qin Fan approached a wealthy woman and didn't want her anymore. Or died. In short, during that period, Su Xiaowei went crazy searching, destroyed 2 phones, and spent a lot of money. After no success, he had no choice but to accept the fact that Qin Fan had died and returned to his home company with peace of mind. He started from the grassroots level step by step, and with the help of his father, he climbed to the position of president of Qinglin Animal Husbandry, a leading company in the national dairy industry. Although there have been many people pursuing her in the past 3 years, Su Xiaowei has not agreed to any of them. Since Qin Fan is dead, she must remain a widow for 3 years, right? Although this reason may sound a bit outrageous, it is also a reason for Su Xiaowei to comfort herself. After all, she has only talked about Qin Fan in her life, and she is also the only man who has captivated her. But to her surprise, it was in the last year she was preparing to give up, which was today. She worked overtime late at night alone, thinking of playing Douyin to relax and unwind. However, as soon as I opened it, I saw the cheek that had turned into ash and she knew it all. Qin Fan in the picture, although a bit messy, has also turned a lot darker in skin, no longer the appearance of fresh meat from his college years. But Su Xiaowei could tell at a glance that this was the man she had died for 3 years. I haven't seen you for 3 years, I've all become academicians. Humph, are you afraid that my Su family will treat you unfairly or is there something wrong? Su Xiaowei let out a cold snort, her delicate and tender palm tightly grasping her phone. It's like she has firmly grasped Qin Fan in her palm. You can't escape, you must give me an explanation. Su Xiaowei's eyes were stern as she withdrew from Douyin and directly called her assistant. At this point it was already past 11 o'clock in the night. After receiving the phone call, the female assistant did not feel any displeasure or drowsiness, but respectfully. "Hello, Mr. Su. Please help me book a flight ticket to the fastest destination in Magic City, the faster the better," said Su Xiaowei. The sound of typing on the keyboard quickly came from the other end of the phone. After a while, the assistant weakly said, "Mr. Su, due to the Agricultural Expo, the first class of recent flights has been sold out." "Look. Then economy class. Economy class. As we speak, it has also been sold out, only the day after tomorrow." Upon hearing this, Su Xiaowei's eyebrows twitched. What does it mean? She wants to see Qin Fan once. It's so difficult, isn't it? Is it fate or not? If it were her silly and sweet college years, perhaps she would still believe these things. But now, she only believes in miracles with great force. Over the phone, she spoke very domineeringly to her assistant. "Contact the driver, drive, step on the accelerator, double your salary." Half an hour later. A tincture business car rushed out of the Qinlin Animal Husbandry parking lot, speeding all the way and quickly got on the highway, heading straight for the Magic City. The entire journey of over 1,000 kilometers is expected to take more than 10 hours. Just halfway through, the driver felt a bit overwhelmed. Su Xiaowei also had a headache, so she had to let the driver off the highway and prepare to take a break. The next morning, Qin Fan and Lu Tao had just arrived at the booth when a large group of people immediately gathered around them. After a night of fermentation last night, their booth has become popular. Apart from a group of passers-by watching the excitement, many journalists also stared at this exhibition booth. Seeing this battle, Lu Tao couldn't help but shudder. "Qin, do we have such a great influence?" Qin Fan, however, had a calm expression on his face. After arriving at the booth, he flipped out a sign from under the table. "Tear off the double-sided tape and stick it onto the booth." The people around couldn't help but recite the sign when they saw it. Dragon Kingdom. Academy of Agricultural Sciences. What? Is this the official booth? Everyone suddenly widened their eyes, a bit incredulous. No wonder it's so powerful. I thought it was some agricultural company yesterday. After all, it doesn't even have a brand. Okay, good. The officials' next move is to clean up the situation. The Academy of Agricultural Sciences is going to start pretending. After seeing the sign of the Academy of Agricultural Sciences, the onlookers' eyes lit up a bit. A group of reporters gathered around like flies smelling the scent. "May I ask your two surnames?" Lu Tao glanced at Qin Fan beside him. I only saw Qin Fan shake his head slightly and then introduce himself. "Lu Tao, this is my colleague. Lu Bo." The reporters' questions chattered incessantly. "Comrades, may I ask if this is the official exhibition booth of the Academy of Agricultural Sciences? Yesterday, I went undercover. Was it to give everyone a surprise?" This question immediately aroused the appetite of the people present. "After all, I didn't hang a sign yesterday, but I hung it today." "What does this mean?" "It means it was intentional at all. The small Academy of Agricultural Sciences is still hiding something, but it has turned everyone's mouths upside down." Lu Tao fell silent again, a bit awkward in the silence. Qin Fan, who was still beside him, replied truthfully after coughing twice. "I think there's a misunderstanding among everyone. There's no such thing as surprise or not. As for why I didn't hang the sign yesterday, it's just because I forgot. The reporter who was questioning was somewhat confused. This is somewhat over-decomposed reading. The netizens watching the live stream were also amused. "Ha, this little brother is so cute. He can speak so confidently even if he forgets. It's better to admit it openly, just give us a surprise. I never expected that the Academy of Agricultural Sciences would be able to do this kind of work for us, and I'm getting more and more fond of it. Then, the reporter reacted quickly and asked a question that many netizens were eager to know. Since you two are workers of the Academy of Agricultural Sciences, you must have met Qin Fan, Academician Qin. Can you talk to us about Academician Qin? Chapter 10. One touch, one silent. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Upon hearing this, everyone present looked at Lu Tao with expectant eyes. Since Qin Fan's name echoed throughout Douyin last night, many people have wanted to find Qin Fan and thank him in person. Even worse, everyone is eager to know what kind of person is capable of researching these fruits and vegetables to benefit people's livelihoods. But when faced with questions from reporters, Lu Tao's answer was always only one. Academician Qin is usually relatively low-key, so it is not convenient to disclose his information. Okay. Upon hearing Lu Tao's answer, everyone was somewhat disappointed. But soon, everyone was looking forward to their booth again, and today they could come up with something explosive. As a result, Lu Tao only took out a pile of vegetables and placed them on the booth. The Agricultural Expo only has 3 days, so during these 3 days, their exhibits are all planned. The first day is for fruits, the second day is for vegetables, and the third day is for farming. Today is already the vegetables' turn. This thing cannot be eaten raw, and the interest of the reporters instantly decreased by half. Lu Tao seemed to have noticed the emotions of the reporters, smiled, and didn't say much. Instead, he took out pieces of introduction boards and placed them one by one on the exhibition stand for everyone to see by themselves. A group of journalists and onlookers didn't have much to do. So they surrounded it. With just one glance, my eyes widened again. Artificial cultivation of ginseng, origin. Qin Province, annual production of 40,000 tons, market price. 50 yuan per gene, advantages. High yield, easy survival. Everyone knows that ginseng is produced in Qin Province, but when did artificially cultivated ginseng become so powerful? Annual production of 40,000 tons. Saffron, origin. Magic City. Seeing this, netizens are foolish again. Alamo capital silver, how come I didn't know that our great magic capital still produces saffron? Isn't this thing produced in Bianzong province? Okay, it's the first time I've found out that my mom still has saffron. Moving on to the next one. Cordyceps sinensis, origin. Hubei Province, summer magnolia fruit, origin. Guangxi Province. Dragon fruit, origin. Monet Province. One after another. The journalist looked foolish. The passers-by were also stunned. The audience in the live broadcast room also engaged in a series of non-stop activities for over 10 minutes. This is too illogical. After watching these, netizens couldn't help but shout loudly in the live broadcast room. Mom, how many good things are you hiding? To be honest, if it weren't for the Agricultural Expo, I would never have known that our family still produces these things. A thorough investigation of agriculture belongs to, yes, without making a sound. The way of heaven is good for reincarnation. Whoever my parents have loved, I believe all of you here are still unaware of our own specialties. Show, it's too showy. Let's all roll up. I want to see what other good things are hidden in everyone's house. So, stimulated by the items displayed by Qin Fan and Lu Tao, a large group of netizens spontaneously launched a large-scale agricultural survey. I don't know if I touch it, but when I touch it, I really don't make a sound. Things like ginseng from Qin Province, saffron produced in Magic City, and summer magnolia produced in Guangxi Province are all basic operations. More and more private specialty products are being dug out by netizens. In addition to mushrooms and blueberries, Qin Province also has coffee beans and matsutake biscuits. Your province's old watch quietly turned the folded ear root into wine and yogurt, shocking netizens for 100 years, which is also enough to show your province's old watch's love for the folded ear root. In addition to producing chili peppers and hemorrhoids, Hot Pot Province also produces freshwater Australian lobster. Surprisingly, the old cousin from Jiangdong still has eels. There are South American shrimp and hairy crabs in the province of creating myths. There are too many specialties in various provinces, and they are all some specialties that no one knows about. After being touched out, even my own person looked bewildered. We still produce this. Why don't we know ourselves? The key is to search for patents online after identifying these specialties. Yes, it's Qin Fan again. This is no longer at the level of enjoying the imperial temple, because someone has really started worshipping Qin Fan. Some agricultural college students even burned incense and worshipped Qin Fan in their dormitories. Just to let Qin Fan bless himself from failing the exam. After all, if one person develops so many agricultural patents at the same time, looking at the world, it is an extremely incredible existence. Qin Fan, as a talented person, may not be difficult even if he wants to have a meal of giant panda hot pot. After all, for the Dragon Kingdom, there is a clear distinction between a national treasure and a group of national treasures, which is more important or less important. The booth became lively again. Qin Fan stayed there feeling a bit bored. After sitting quietly for a while, he stood up and patted Lu Tao's shoulder. You keep an eye on it, I'll go take a look at other booths. For a researcher, what he is doing now is not focusing on his job. After all, Qin Fan's main business is still agriculture. The Agricultural Expo is such a great opportunity, and he still wants to see the achievements of agricultural development in other countries. Anyway, it can be considered as learning. Okay, Qin Gu, go ahead. Lu Tao nodded and turned around to greet the visitors. Qin Fan didn't say much and started wandering around the entire venue. It seems that there are basically no new technologies, and each family only showcases their own specialties to the world. The foundation of a country ultimately lies in agriculture. However, some developed countries have narrowed their paths and instead showcase some exquisite and precious items that cannot fill their stomachs. For example, French foie gras, Boston lobster, caviar, and so on. Qin Fan looked at it somewhat bland. In his opinion, these things could not be used as food at all. Perhaps they were more appropriate as seasonings for daily life. After wandering for a while, he was ready to turn back. Because there is no need to continue reading. Just as Qin Fan lifted his foot and prepared to leave. Suddenly, the sound of conversation came from behind. Excuse me, is this caviar? Said a young girl from Dragon Country, pointing to a plate of black particles on the beautiful exhibition platform. Yes. The person from the beautiful country glanced at the little girl and answered with certainty. May I try it? I haven't tried caviar before. The little girl is dressed in the official uniform of the Agricultural Expo, with the official badge of the Agricultural Expo personnel hanging on her chest. She was originally a freshman student at Moda University, but due to family reasons, she came to the Agricultural Expo as a part-time waitress. This time, it's also because I've never eaten caviar before, and I heard from my roommates how high-end and luxurious this food is. So she had the courage to ask, but as soon as she asked, she regretted it. As expected, the beautiful country behind the booth changed its expression and waved in disgust. No, do you know how much our caviar costs per gram? It costs $200 per gram, which is equivalent to over 1,400 dragon coins. Can you afford it? I'm sorry. The girl who was despised did not immediately refute, but constantly apologized. At that moment, a big hand grabbed her shoulder.